it's like soon as I hit the age of 50, it's like somebody upstairs turned on the light and said, just give it to her. Give her everything you got. Because I'm telling you, my knees started aching. My back was aching. I had inflammation in my knees. I had inflammation in my lower back. I had been diagnosed with breast cancer.
There is a center of health in the body. And if you take care of that center of health, it's designed to take care of you.
I had just gone through 15 sessions of radiation. And that radiation, it blackened my skin. It blistered it. The blisters came open. My flesh was exposed. I was told that it was going to take a very long time for that to heal and return back to its somewhat of an original state.
When you give your body what it was designed to handle, your body will do what it's supposed to do.
I'm telling you, I was losing my hair. My nails were brittle. I had gone up to about 238 pounds. My highest weight was 268. And when I came from South Carolina to New York, I was a size 0. And so I went all the way up to a size 22.
Why wait until you get sick? Let's shift that paradigm from reaction, be proactive in taking care of your health.
And so now, not having any knee pain, any back pain, the area where I had the radiation due to the breast cancer, the color came back, terminated, 63 pounds. My hair started growing back thicker than ever before. My nails are stronger than ever before. I sleep through the night.
What's a year of life worth to you?
Little toughness. You got challenges that you're going to run across.
Welcome to another episode of Elite Psyche. All right, so welcome to another episode of Elite Psyche, the Mental Toughness Podcast. This is really it's the show now. I'm changing from the podcast. It's the really big show. I'll keep saying pod, but we're the really big show now. And on Elite Psyche, what we do is talk to people who've had a lot of success in life, or just success, period. If you had success, that means you've gone through some challenges. You need mental toughness to win in life. And the people that I have today are special guests that we're going to talk about something. Well, I'm not going to jump ahead of myself today. What I'm going to do is introduce these two ladies, and then I'm going to let them talk about, what's going on with them now and in the past. They have made millions of dollars in the home-based business arena. Millions of dollars. Millions. So without further ado, I want to introduce the two ladies, and we'll introduce Valencia first. Miss Valencia Panfield. I've been knowing her since probably 2008. So man, what is that? It's like 14 years, no, 16 years almost about 16 years now. So Valencia, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and well, probably when somebody here, you can hear that Brooklyn accent, but we'll let you explain.
Every now and then I try to hide that, but I am so excited when people ask me where I'm from. I am from Brooklyn, New York. I'm born and raised, and when somebody says tell you about themselves, that's a loaded question. I'll just start with I grew up in the projects of Brooklyn. So statistically, you would not expect me to have had the kind of success that I did. My dad was always entrepreneurial. My mom was an educator. They were really tough on us. I come from the generation where, getting a job was not something you could make a choice about. When I finished school, that's what I had to do. I was fortunate enough to work for about 15 years in corporate America. I thought I would have retired from corporate America because I loved my job. I worked for JP Morgan on Wall Street. What led me to home-based business was a corporate shuffle. Now, I didn't get fired, downsized, re-engineered, none of that. JP Morgan decided to move operations to the state of Delaware. And so I was excited. I moved to Delaware. I had a house built. Life was it was exactly what I expected. I tell everybody, I was so thrilled to go to Home Depot and buy a lawnmower because Brooklyn is the concrete jungle. We don't do those kind of things. You don't have grass growing because you have neighbors to each side. So I moved to Delaware, thought I would continue with JP Morgan, but about a month and a half after I arrived in Delaware, JP Morgan sold the division of the bank that I worked for. So that put me in a position where if I wanted to keep my job, they sold it to a company back in New York City. So now I had a commute. I commuted 3 hours to work and 3 hours back home. And I did that every day for 4 years. So anybody listening, you can understand the toll that takes on your life. And somebody would say, well, that's ridiculous. Why would you commute 6 hours a day? Well, I built my lifestyle on New York income, and it was significantly more than what I would have created if I started that same career in Delaware. So I did what I had to do. A mentor of mine, and I'm making a long story short, a mentor of mine came to me and said, Valencia, I found a way you can get free. And, I can't even tell you that I completely would have trusted him because he borrowed money to get started in business from me. But he became a documented millionaire. He was written up in magazines and so on and so forth. So I said to him, I'm going to do exactly what you say, and it better work. And that's how I ended up in home-based business. And it's just been a very successful career. Actually, Tony, I met you in 2006. So it's been almost 20 years.
Yeah. Wow.
And just, I love what I do now. I love home-based business. I love the control. I love being an entrepreneur. I never grew up thinking I could be one, but I absolutely love the freedom. I love helping people. And very quickly, I guess that's a synopsis of a 30-year story in 5 minutes.
All right. All right. So now we got Dr. Tamia Williams here, and tell us your story.
Oh, wow. You got all day? Well, just like Valencia Palmfield, I'm going to keep it really, really short. I grew up in a little town in Latta, South Carolina. I was number 21, actually not number 21 that my grandmother actually gave birth to, but I was the 21st one that she raised. I think I was number 22. Yeah, because my grandmother had 11 children, and then her mom had 11 children. And my grandmother ended up raising her own brothers and sisters because her mother died early due to alcoholism. And so after my mother died, I was 7 years old, my mother transitioned, my grandmother ended up raising me. My father, he had gotten himself into some trouble and was incarcerated for double murder by the time I was 9 years old. And so a lot of things had happened in my life. I grew up not wanting to go to school because I saw what school did to all those that were around me. And I think different now, but when I was growing up, I noticed that everybody that went to school, they did everything right. They got the good grades, they got the good education, but they worked a job. And they never really lived the life that I wanted to live. And so with me not even trying to make that happen, some things happened in my life. I became a mom, and I gave birth to 3 children. But my second child, Damian Cologne Jr., something happened that I didn't expect to happen. And I'm saying that to say that my grandmother, all of her siblings were born in a house, and all of her children were born in a house, and even I was born in a house. And we all came into the world very healthy. But here I was in New York, and I gave birth to my second child. And Damien lost oxygen at birth and was diagnosed as being a child that would be severely mentally retarded. These are the words that they were allowed to use 31 years ago. And so when I realized that my son was going to need a lot of attention, I left my job as a school teacher. I had been teaching school in Brooklyn, New York. That was not easy, growing up in South Carolina and teaching school in Brooklyn, New York. But I ended up leaving my job as a school teacher to pursue network marketing about 31 years ago. And I've been doing it now full time. And so my son, although it looked like it was a setback, was really a setup. And I didn't understand it then, but I do understand it now. I look at him as truly a blessing because of him and because of all the adversity that surrounded him at one time in his life. It afforded me an opportunity to create a lifestyle for not only him, but for his 2 sisters, myself, and all that have come into my circle to really, really live lives that we probably would not have been able to live had I continued on the path of being a teacher. And so here I am today. I've been in, I like to say, 3 major companies. The last company that I was a part of, that relationship lasted 19 years. and now I'm off to Love Biome, and my goal is to make this my last stop.
Okay.
Excited to be here with you today, Tony, sharing. That's a little bit of my journey, as quick as I can, because there's a whole lot to the story. Allow me to share.
All right. Well, cool. Then that's a great segue. Let's talk about Love Biome and the Microbiome company. And let's start with you, Valencia. You know, what would you say about Love Biome? Somebody ask you, I mean, what's Love Biome? What do you say?
Again, a loaded question, but I'm trying to keep it succinct because otherwise we'd be here all evening. Love Biome is a company that I think is actually here in advance of time. I think everybody who, anybody who's dealt with a health condition, anybody who's ever had to go to the doctor, anybody who has ever asked the question, why? Love Biome is the answer. The way modern medicine is treating us, they treat it very fragmented. They deal with the individual condition. That's why you have all the different specialties. And, years ago, you used to go to the dentist. Now you have to go either to a dentist, an orthodontist, or you have to go to a periodontist. They're specializing. In fact, I recently had to have an eye surgery, and the doctor made a joke. He said, soon we're going to have doctors that only deal with the left eye and those that deal with the right eye. And I understood what he was saying. Everything is becoming so specialized. And so you go into the hospital and you deal with one condition. And then you have 7 doctors who come to see you and they don't communicate. And this one says, well, from my position, you can go home. And then the other one says, and I've been dealing with this through family members and what have you. So I'm very well aware of the health crisis that we face. 2 things. One, I just want to do what I need to do to stay healthy. But the information Love Biome has brought to the fore, not our discovery, but has brought to the fore that there is a center of health in the body. And if you take care of that center of health, it's designed to take care of you. So it makes so much sense to me when I think about, major disasters or catastrophes. They always centralize and decide how to get things done. Well, our bodies have a center, and it's called the microbiome. And again, that term may not be familiar, but anybody can research it. I've never dealt with anything that was this documented, this validated, this substantiated. Nobody can argue with it. And it is really impacting people. Love Biome is helping people to see that and I'll coin Dr. Tamia's phrase, when you give your body what it was designed to handle, your body will do what it's supposed to do. We've all seen our bodies heal from a scratch or a scrape or stitches. That is the way we're designed. And Love Biome is bringing that to the fore, helping people to change the paradigm. My thing is, why wait until you get sick? Let's shift that paradigm from reaction to be proactive in taking care of your health. And that's the message. Every living, breathing person on the planet needs to know what Love Biome is sharing.
Okay, great. So Doc, tell us about what is Love Biome to you? Well, what would you say if somebody asked you that?
Well, it's a lifesaver, honestly. Just like you, Tony, I met Valencia back in, I believe it was 2006 as well, Valencia. And what Valencia didn't know is that when I offered myself to actually attend, she was getting ready to we was having a conversation and she was getting ready to get on the Zoom. And I said, well, what kind of Zoom you getting ready to get on? And she said, I'm talking about this thing, the gut and this and that, the other, digestive health, etc. I forget exactly what she said. But I said, hey, send me the link. I might be interested. What she didn't know is that I was in a place in my life where I was really going through a lot. It's like as soon as I hit the age of 50, it's like somebody upstairs turned on the light and said, just give it to her. Give her everything you got. Because I'm telling you, my knees started aching. My back was aching. I had inflammation in my knees. I had inflammation in my lower back. I had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Had just gone through 15 sessions of radiation. And that radiation, it blackened my skin. It blistered it. The blisters came open. My flesh was exposed. I was told that it was going to take a very long time for that to heal and return back to somewhat of an original state. Nah. I'm telling you, I was losing my hair. My nails were brittle. I had gone up to about 238 pounds. My highest weight was 268. And when I came from South Carolina to New York, I was a size 0. And so I went all the way up to a size 22. I had a lot going on, but Valencia just didn't know it because I didn't really talk about it. I figured I'll find a way, or I'll just deal with where I am. You know, there's got to be a pill or something somewhere. I was also on antidepressants for 30 years. Valencia didn't know that. I was on anxiety, not anxiety, of course, and depression medication, but I was also on medicine to sleep at night. I was using Ambien to sleep at night because all of these different things that I was taking was really disrupting the normal process, the natural process of my gut microbiome. And so when I was exposed to this information and I decided to not only use the products, but use them consistently, the results that I got, it blew my mind. And so now, not having any knee pain, any back pain, the area where I had the radiation due to the breast cancer, the color came back, the consistency, I'm going to try to keep this as clean as I can. But the stuff was restored. Let me put it to you like that. Terminated 63 pounds. My hair started growing back thicker than ever before. My nails are stronger than ever before. I sleep through the night. Before I was only eliminating maybe 3-4 times a week. I now go to the bathroom at least. And when I say go to the bathroom, I mean move my bowels at least 2 times a day. All of these things started to happen. My skin began to clear up. My energy level, I always had a high energy level, but now it's like through the roof. And so I got me back. I feel better now, I'm telling you, than I felt when I was 16, 17 years old. And you can't put a price tag on that. That's the reason why you can't shut me up when it comes to talking about this company, because the products, they work. They work. And that's why I lead with that. I lead with the products because I know that once people start to take them and really get to understand what's happening with their bodies, they're not going to stop. I will never stop using these products. As long as they're making them, I'm taking them.
Wow. So let me stick with you for a minute. So you're saying you started with the daily 3, and that's what you took to get healthy like that?
Tony, when I tell you I was not sleeping through the night, I wasn't sleeping through the night. The very first thing my husband noticed when I started using the daily 3 is that I started sleeping through the night. I would get up sometimes 3 or 4 times in the night just to go to the bathroom. The menopause my menopause was really, really giving me a swift kick every night. I would sweat so bad. I'll give you a quick story. My grandson spent the night with me one time, and he woke me up because he thought that I had an accident on him. He thought that I peed on him because I was sweating so bad that half his pajamas were soaking wet. That's how bad it was. And it would wake me up because I would get cold. And I have to get up and change my pajamas, put a towel down so I won't wake my husband. But he noticed that I started sleeping through the night. And so the daily 3, it was like my entry to all of the new things that are now on the scene. And that was my first testimony, you know. And so yeah, I started sleeping through the night, and I started losing weight. My waist was 44 inches. It is now 32 inches. And so this was just the beginning. And now that I feel that my body is in a place where it's ready to receive all of this other good stuff that's now on the scene, that's the reason why when I started to really release the weight, it started to happen at a rather rapid pace because my body was in such a state of balance that it was ready to take on that lactobacillus gasseri and all the other good stuff that it's now been exposed to, all because of the research that Love Biome continues to do for us that's out here in the field, for those that know and those who's getting ready to know, you know. So
the weight loss, did that come from the weight management package also, or was that still from the daily 3?
I use the daily 3 every day. I believe that it expedites when I incorporated the Phyto Power W as well as the Phyto Power B. I use it. I use everything. I use the energy. Midday, I take the Phyto Power E, and I also take the Phyto Power C because it helps me. It takes me to a different level of sleep. I sleep a little bit deeper. In other words, I'm sleeping right now so that my body can really repair itself. And in doing so, I'm burning more calories when I sleep at night. I find that when I get on the scale, I'm down, especially when I do everything that I'm supposed to do. And so, yeah, initially, Tony, the daily 3, it's like I started releasing weight. And I think before the Phyto Power W and the Phyto Power B and the E and the C, I had already terminated about 30 pounds. And since being on the other products, it's escalated because I been with Love Biome now a little over a year. And so initially, I say about maybe 7-8 months, I terminated at 30 pounds, and then the rest of it with the other products incorporated as well.
Okay. So Valencia, is that my mic?
No, that's me.
Okay. So Valencia, when you hear, as we can talk a little bit about the science as we go along, because I saw a lot of science at the event, man, on the product. My years of experience looking at this, I know a lot of us, meaning our culture, why do you think that it seems like the science is not important to us? Like, I was with a company for 3 years, had a liquid vitamin, detox tea, which you know what that was. And, the only science that we got was from the doctor that I had brought on my team. So the company never at an event brought a scientist in, never documented the science behind the products, never did any of that stuff. And people were so excited about it. But, a lot of times when you show science, it's like we don't even want to check it out or even believe it. Why do you think that is?
It's a paradigm. And people live in their paradigm. So our paradigms say, don't investigate. We leave that to the doctor. And so when the doctor tells us it's good, even though they also tell us how bad it is, we don't pay attention to that. And so when you have the opportunity to talk to people and you start giving, it's over their head. They don't even want to comprehend it. They feel like it's not in their space to understand how to handle their own illnesses. And so we are creating a paradigm shift. I happen to be a person who loves the science. I happen to be a person who enjoys learning at that level. I can't say I was always that way, but now I love being able to tell people whatever you have going on, take the time to Google it and see if what I'm saying is true. And I've done it hundreds of times, Tony, and no matter what people tell me they have, there is a connection to whatever is going on in their body and their gut microbiome. I'm so confident of that. I've even had a lady one time tell me she has the disease that Job had. And my mind was, how do you know what Job had? Like, I never saw it in the Bible.
Right.
But I looked up what she said, and sure enough, it was gut microbiome. And so we have to, I don't know, I don't think we have to scare people, but we have to give people truth. We all have a disease inside of us, a health condition waiting to manifest. We just don't know it. And because people want instant results, they want to pop a pill and feel it. They want to see something immediate. We're not in the culture of taking care of ourselves. In fact, we are in the culture of getting sick. We eat wrong. Everything that they sell, true story, this weekend, I ate just a whole lot of sugar. And because I've changed the consistency of my gut microbiome, my body couldn't even handle it. I had 3 cookies. 3 big cookies, I will say. They were delicious.
You were at the cookie place. Was it DoubleTree?
Those cookies were so good. But at home, I wouldn't eat. I don't even crave it like I used to. And it's just, we're all messed up. And just accept it and then learn how to get your body working. We're just like a car, any kind of machine. We are the greatest form of technology on the planet. We take better care of our cars than we do our bodies. We leave that to the man in the white coat. And so it's a paradigm shift to say, let me see if what they're saying is true. And anybody who wants to can validate everything we say.
So what do you say, Dr. Demir, about the science, why we look at it, how we look at it?
You know what it is? That's one of the reasons why I tell folk all the time, listen, you don't have to go into all the details of it. your body will have its own conversation with what it understands. You see, I just believe that, and this is just what I believe. We came from the earth. Plant life, it comes from the earth. And so there's a direct connection. Your body understands plant life, and plant life understands your body, because it's like we're two of the same. We're both living organisms. One just happened to be one way and one happens to be the other way, but we get each other. And so when you give somebody these products, which by the way is all plant life, it's all natural, your body is going to understand that. Those microbial cells, they're beginning to have conversations that we don't even know that's going on. You know what I'm saying? And so y'all see that clock in the background. But anyways, Tony's clock, I tell you, Valencia. Only these Tonys. So anyway, it will have its own conversation, and you will see for yourself that it did. It will, because Valencia, no matter how much science she would have shared with me, and she did not go into all the details of that, it was just try it. I don't know, to me, just try it. And that's what I did. I tried it. I put it in my system. She couldn't come there and do that piece for me. I tried it and it worked. It worked. And I've seen the same thing happen for so many people. Tony, there was a lady at the event, and I don't know if you saw her, Minister Dale out of North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. You saw her, right? The first event that Valencia and I did in Charlotte, North Carolina, this woman was there, and she was blind. And this may sound crazy.
Yeah, you about to hit us with one.
Yeah, he was blind. And once again, I'm not making any claims,
right?
But you give the body what the body understands, the body can go to work on its behalf. I promise you. And so she said that she was blind and she's not supposed to see again. But guess what? She started using the products, and her eyesight, I like to say it this way, it came back on. She started seeing colors. She stood up in a meeting and she started pointing at different things and saying, well, look at this color. This is that color. She told me what I had on, the colors that I was wearing. And for her, it was a big deal. And for those that were listening, it was a big deal too. But you might have somebody that might be skeptical. I don't believe it. And that's fine. You see, there's another young man that was in St. Croix during the meeting. And this little boy, 7 years old, had 2 seizures, and he lost sight in his right eye. His mom, only thing she had, the doctors told her that it was never going to come back. The sight wasn't going to come back on. She showed her the x-rays and whatnot, and the vein had detached a little bit. And that just be lucky that he didn't go blind completely, that he still got sight in his left eye. Guess what? After being on these plant-based products, all natural products, organic, ethically sourced, guess what? 4 months, his sight came back on. That right eye came back on. And so you hear stories all the time from people. And so can they all be lying? Can they all be being dishonest? Either way you want to cut it. The bottom line is it works. That's and right. It's not rocket science. It's not. It's just plant life. You know, and one thing I remember hearing her say in the very first presentation I heard, she quoted a quote from the father of modern medicine. Now, talking about Hippocrates. I call him Dr. Hippocrates. He said, all disease begins in the gut. And then he said, let food be thy medicine. Think about this. I want y'all to think about it. Valencia's from Brooklyn, New York, but I grew up in South Carolina. And I know Valencia knows this because she used to hang out in South Carolina in her teenage years. You might have been in South Carolina too. But my grandmother thought she was the doctor. She thought she was the doctor. I used to pray, Lord, please don't let me break my leg, because I do not want them trying to put no piece of wood and no duct tape around my leg, and my leg don't come back together like it's supposed to. But she used to wrap our heads with collard greens whenever you had a fever. She used to wrap our feet with different greens. And she said it was going to pull the fever out. How does she know these things? How does she know what to put with what to boil it and give it to us to drink to clean us out? How does she know? They knew these things. We've just gotten away from it. And we would just go back to plant life. A lot of people will get the benefits that they've been looking for. It's right here. Right here. It's given to us. So I know I talk a lot. I'm sorry, y'all.
No. We want to get the information.
I want to just add to what you're saying, Dr. Tamia. You know, a lot of people when somebody says they're blind, it doesn't always mean they can't see. It means they don't see like they used to. Because I've experienced it in my family. My uncle was 100% blind from diabetes. But today he can drive a car. And you have to ask yourself what happened. So I started asking doctors, and there is reasons. This when the, I guess let's call it the blood vessels, when they swell up, you can't see. So if you can get some of that inflammation out, it is possible. Now, somebody who listens, they'll say, oh, they're trying to sell that product. No, we're not. But I love what Tamia said. I don't even tell people try it. I say use it. There are so many people who will try it, and based on taste, they won't want to take it. But Tamia, I'm not a Southerner, but I know when my mom was really sick, somebody went and found some kind of root from a tree and put it in gin, and she started taking it, and doctors told her that 95% chance she was going to die. She had sarcoidosis. My mom had to stop teaching at the time. And because she used something natural, she was able to get back to a state of health. So when people want to know, well, can I take it with medicine? And can I do that? It's food. So if the common sense can kick in, and see, medicine is not common sense. But if common sense kicks in, there'd be nobody who would say, I don't want to take this product. It only makes sense. Give the body what the body. I go all the way back to the Bible. Let every tree of the garden serve as food for you. Everybody has heard that. But we are so far that we don't even like this. Somebody was saying yesterday, a doctor was saying, we don't even like the taste of lettuce. We got to drench it in salad dressing. We don't like real food. Therefore, we don't consume it. And it's making us sick. We're the sickest nation on the planet.
I hear
not third world, but I'm talking about advanced, developed countries. We're doing pretty bad.
Right. Well, most of the food can't even go in other countries. They don't like we banning this. But I noticed that both of y'all mentioned the gut because that's what the company is about. Well, more than that. That's the thing that I want to kind of emphasize is more than it's the gut, but it's more than that. Now, I've heard people in the last 2 weeks that I've talked with say, oh, yeah, I already got something for the gut. I already got something for the gut. I get mine. I got mine from you. So when they say that, what are you saying? I'm sure they got something for the gut, but is that everything that we offer here?
No, and that's why we try to make that distinction. We're not a gut health company. That's part of your health. But when people say that, they mean they have something for acid reflux. They have something to go to the bathroom. Theirs is 100% centralized in digestion. That's not what we're talking about. That's why companies that sell laxatives and you lose weight, that's gut too, and I get it that people, they group it all together, but your microbiome is more than just, how well you're digesting food and how many times you go to the bathroom. But when it's working right, that works too, but other parts of the body are impacted as well. So this is, and I know somebody just recently said, why we have to say microbiome? It is different. The microbiome is the center. Every organ in your body connects to it. So your reproductive organs, that means, everything you can think of that people want. They want a good libido. They want to feel good. That's all in the microbiome. So it's more than just the gut. You go to the medical profession, they say, take the gallbladder out. You don't need it. Well, there's a reason it's there. So the gallbladder connects to the microbiome. Like, man, there's so many graphics that can help a person. But to Dr. Tamia's point, use it. And use it long enough. I tell everybody there's only 2 people it doesn't work for. Those that don't use it and those that don't use it long enough. And there's nothing we can do about that. This is not a miracle. You got to clean your body, rebalance, reconstruct your gut. And that's a process. But nobody will deny that it works.
What do you say, Doc? When people say, well, I already got some gut stuff. I'm good.
Yeah, I had some gut stuff too, and I wasn't good at all. I had a lot of gut stuff. I had a probiotic in my refrigerator that I paid $100 a month for, and it had to stay refrigerated. But it didn't come with enzymes. It didn't come with 96 different fruits and vegetables. It didn't come with targeted probiotics that that my gut, there's certain microbes in my gut would understand. I mean, so I do a demonstration. And what I do is I take this pudding, this pudding pack. I don't know if you've ever seen what a snack called a snack pack pudding. And I'll take some Fido Power, the original, and I'll put it in that pudding and I will stir it up and just let it sit for about 5 minutes, and it will liquefy that pudding. Okay, a lot of probiotics on the market today, a lot of them, first of all, well, I won't even knock them. The bottom line is they don't work. They don't work. It may appear as though they're working, but they're really not working. And so when you see the power of what we have, that's a very good visual. I'm telling you, you really begin to understand. And Valencia said, she said, you know what? People need to take it long enough. Think about it. We get a new set of red blood cells every 120 days. We get a new set of white blood cells every 5 to 7 days. Our bones even regenerate every 7 years. It's crazy how amazing our bodies are. But when you just put it in a capsule and not open your mind to the possibilities of all the other stuff that's out there. And our company, they've done the research. They've done the research, extensive research. You're talking about over 70,000 different plants on the earth. They looked at 400 of the best, and then they narrowed it down to 96 of the best of the best. They didn't just go to one particular place. They went from the North America region all the way to the Fiji Islands, and they literally studied plant life. And they formulated these amazing products, you see, because that's what we should be consuming. We should be consuming foods, the micronutrients and the polyphenols, the phytonutrients, all these things that's going to get us back to where we need to be. Our gut microbiome, and I know it's more to it, the microbiome, yep, but in our gut, there's our immune system. You're talking to 70-80% of our immune system. You're talking about where serotonin is produced. When you think about it, think about this. 1 out of every 6 people here in the United States of America are on some type of antidepressant. I was one of them. Why is that? Because the microbiome is not working the way that it should. If it was, the gut would be producing serotonin the way that it was designed to produce serotonin. I mean, 90% of who we are is connected to our gut microbiome. Who I am, my DNA is there in the gut. And so there's so much to us. And if we would just open our minds to all of the information that Love Biome is supplying us with, that we don't have to go and do on our own, and trust it, I'm telling you, you will get tremendous benefit from what we're talking about. It's soon going to become a household name. And so I'm just glad that we're at the beginning of it. And it's working very, very well. So,
when you all say either you didn't do it, you didn't take it, or you didn't take it long enough. There's a lot of people in our culture who say, well, man, that's like $150 or more a month. Now, granted, I know they pay $100 and some for the 500 channels of TV, and they probably pay $100 and some for other stuff. But when it comes to our health, I think it's almost like the doctor, like when you said about putting fear, almost the doctor kind of puts fear, saying you got to take these blood pressure pills, you got to take these kind of things. With us, I don't know how to get a person to understand that, because everybody's getting older. I'm getting older. Everybody's getting older. And my thing is, I'd rather be putting something in my body that might cost whatever for prevention. Because down the line, something's going to get ready to break or something's going to happen, and you want to be prepared for it. You want to be able to have that covered. I guess it goes back to belief too. I mean, does a person has to believe that they're going? I don't know if people believe that products will help them, to maintain as they get older. Because, I've seen people in the family that they wouldn't stop eating pork and had their legs cut off and amputated. They wouldn't stop eating this. And I mean, the doctor told them they still wouldn't stop. So it's something that's missing with us. I already know that. But what do you say when somebody says that? Like, man, 90 days, that's $600 or something. You know what I'm saying? So what do you say to that? Because that's something they say.
Valencia, you want to go first?
Well,
This one, man, this is, yeah.
What's a year of life worth to you?
Mm.
You can look at people who have died prematurely. They do videos like Steve Jobs. And he said he would give up every dollar he had to get healthy again. The problem is, I always use this expression. They used to say youth is wasted on the young. Because when you're young, you don't know how to appreciate your youth. Now, when you get older, you'd give anything to get back there. Well, health is wasted on the healthy. When people are healthy, they don't want to spend any money. But let somebody get cancer. They will do GoFundMes. They'll do all kinds of things to get healthy again. So how do we shift the paradigm? One, you got to hear it over and over again. You can't think, oh, I listened once and I got it. You got to put yourself in the environment of people with like-minded thoughts. That's how anybody's paradigm is shifted. It's not our fault that we grew up in a culture where we don't take care of our health. But when you know better, as they would say in the South, you do better. So I got to educate you. But again, you can hear the testimonials and what people have been through, and let it just start to vibrate. For me, I have been around diabetes at a level that probably most people haven't been, just from a family standpoint. My mom there's 10 siblings. 7 of them are insulin dependent. 4 of them were on dialysis. My sister has diabetes. My niece has diabetes. 2 of my first cousins had amputations. First toe, then foot, then leg. They're both dead. One was 30 years old, in church, fell out and died. Diabetes is I didn't know this. I went to a conference. It's almost an embarrassing disease. People have diabetes and they won't even tell you. And I'm sitting around thinking, why? Because they've made it where it's all about the food you consume, but it's so much more than that. But people don't know. People also don't believe it's reversible. And it is. So you got to be willing to get out there, learn. We live in an information world, learn, and then do something about what you learn. And who cares what it costs? People spend $2,000 to go see Beyonce, to go see a sporting game. It's expensive, but so is potato chips. This is real for me. We use this phone for everything. So I go into the convenience store, I hit it. I don't even know what the potato chips cost. The other day, my battery died. So I said, I'm sorry, how much are the potato chips? And he said, I said, that's so wrong. I said, potato chips. But anyway, potato chips. And the guy said $2.89. I said, for this bag?
I know.
Like I was so unaware of how much it cost. I really do remember when a quarter would buy you chips, a cake, and a soda.
And it was more chips in the bag then.
The bag is half empty now. It's actually going to Congress. But my point is, everything is expensive. It's less than a cup of coffee from Starbucks every day. It's all in how you see it. But what are you worth? Now, if you're not worth it, and that's up to you. But the average intelligent person can see, can make a shift, and can do better. And a lot of it is culture. There are people who pay to go to gyms. There are people who go to spas and wellness. And then there are people who don't. Ask yourself, which one do you want to be?
All right, Doc.
Well, I tell you like this. When people see value, when they find value, they'll find a way. They will find a way. We had another young lady that came on one of our calls, and she had gotten 7 injections in her eye. I think it was 6 or 7. And she paid $7,500, or the insurance company had to pay $7,500 per injection because of some rare issue she had going on. And with paying only $160 a month after 4 months, she got tremendous benefit. You see, Valencia made a very profound statement just now. She said a lot. And one of the things that I hold on to is the fact that when you hear this over and over and over and over again, and you hear the testimonies coupled with using the product, you will see for yourself. You don't have to go to the North America region, to the Fiji Islands. You don't have to examine any plant life. You don't have to powderize anything. You don't have to ferment anything for 30 days. You don't have to bottle anything, bag anything. It's already done. And you're getting 96 fruits and vegetables, and you're getting all the colors. And the colors do matter. The colors do matter. I didn't know that. I didn't know that reds were good for the heart and purples and blues shrink tumors. I didn't know these things until I started listening to the presentation. As a matter of fact, Tony, I went to Elite Performing, this company, without doing one presentation. I didn't do one presentation. I went and I listened to Valencia and I listened to Brandon, and I brought people there and they listened and they decided whether or not they wanted to be a part of it. And I continued to listen and I continued to learn. And I went from being convinced to becoming a person that was convicted. And so now I say it with my voice, I say it with my eyes, and you see it when you see me, because I am not the same person that I was a year ago. And so when you see value, when you hear value, you will spend money. You will spend money. You will do it. You'll find a way. You'll find a way.
When you say elite performer, for anybody listening, that means that she's making money. That's a high position in the company. And she says she went there just by putting people in front of Valencia's presentation.
That's it. That's all I did. I didn't do not one presentation. I didn't have to. I didn't have to. All I did was just send people to that presentation. And you got some folk that's just presenting. But, you know, it'd be wise.
Yes.
Do I need to say anything?
Right. I got you. No. It's sometimes it's better. Yeah. It's like I've had people call me after a training or something and say, well, Tony, just tell me the exact words. And I'm like, okay, I can give you the exact words, but it ain't gonna come out your mouth like I just said it. It ain't gonna come out your mouth because your conviction is not there. You're not gonna believe it, and people are not gonna pick it up. So I get that. I understand where Valencia's conviction is, and not only that, she's mastered the presentation. So where I understand that's all you have to do is put people in front of. Now, another thing quickly that we could talk about, this is cultural, I would say. I can't stand the taste of that. Oh my God, I got to drink that. Oh my God. I'm like, and for me, first of all, whether it's good or bad taste, I always say, well, you know, I prefer bad taste because I think that's really when it's really working. But, you know, sometimes some people think it tastes good anyway. But, you know, I think, you know, Kool-Aid tastes good, but we know what's in Kool-Aid. And so, but you hear people saying that, and I know sometimes it might be the taste buds from whatever else they've been eating or whatever they're doing. But how do you answer that? Because, you know, I got to drink that every day. And just, oh God.
I give them two things. If it tastes that bad, you're sicker than I thought. The truth is, food should not taste bad to you. So if in fact, just because you're drinking something natural is almost making you sick, that's indicative of you're a sugar addict, your palate is polluted, everything about what's happening for you is bad. But forget all of that. What difference does it make? If it's gonna
right. That's how I feel.
That's really
if it's gonna do something for your body, what difference
does it make? And if you use it, eventually you're not gonna taste it anyway. It does not bother me at all. But I have a girlfriend who says, oh my God, I just can't. I tried. My niece tells me it scratches her throat. I mean, I can't help you to see.
Scratches her throat.
As I said. But every time you turn around, something else is wrong. So you got to make a decision that I love me. The other thing I tell people, real talk, who liked alcohol the first time you tasted it? And now people, every rapper you know has an alcohol line. Everybody wants to go out and drink on the weekend. It doesn't taste good. It's what it's making them feel. So nobody is sitting around saying, oh, that was so good. It didn't taste good. But now we pay for it and we pay good money for it. So you have to put life in perspective. It's not the cost. It's what is, to me, it said, it's the value. Who cares? It's not the taste. It's the value. And if people can get that, but again, that's education. We were indoctrinated in a 12-year school system. And a lot of it didn't bring us, you know, to the points that we need to be. But we have to keep getting educated because science and life, everything just improves. So when you know better, do better. I don't care what it tastes like. But for
Yeah,
me,
I don't either. Yeah.
the taste never bothered me. I never had a problem. Maybe it's a space of I want to be healthy. I don't want diabetes. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know,
Yeah, I want to do as much as I can to prevent as much as I can.
exactly.
You know, and so if it doesn't taste, that's almost like saying, we'll give you $1 million if you run this certain amount long distance, and you probably like, man, I don't want to run that. I don't want to run it. But for $1 million, I might, go on, knock that out of the way, and just one time, let me go do it. So I think the taste to me never mattered in any product. I thought if it's good for you and you say it's good for you, then you take it for that reason, because something is gonna work on the inside. So what do you say about that, Doc?
It tastes good to me. Listen. As I said before, I grew up in South Carolina. The stuff my grandmother used to give us, listen.
Oh God.
It's like fine wine as far as I'm concerned. It's better than castor oil, I tell you that.
I'm gonna tell you something. My grandmother used to give me, I'm gonna tell you something that's so nasty, but it worked. Have you ever had that 3 6s?
Oh Lord, please. Please.
I'm like, God, what is in this stuff? But
even Tony finding up his face. You said a bad word. You just said a bad word.
360.
But to your point, it worked.
Exactly. Yeah.
We are so used to medically. If the insurance doesn't cover it, then I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, the insurance, I went to a seminar, and you know how they say anybody in the audience could ask a question. And I asked them, I said, if there's certain things that people can do from a preventative standpoint to help them, so we don't have to get to insurance problems, why won't you pay for that? And so the guy, he just blew over my question. And then I said, well, I appreciate that, but here's my question again. Well, anyway, I knew I was getting on his nerves. After the program, he came to me and he said, you know what? You're absolutely right. He said, we do nothing to help people prevent getting sick because sickness it makes so much money. Mm-hmm. But he couldn't say that on the stage. But they make far more money from you being sick. And that's why they cover it. So it's up to you.
In the beginning of your presentation, you always talk about 10 major diseases. And can you say that now? Like 6 people have that or something like that?
Oh, man. Yeah. In America, if you line up 10 people, 6 of them have a chronic disease. I think it's heart disease, lung disease, kidney disease, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and there's one more. But 6 of the 10 have a chronic disease, and 4 of them have 2 or more. Now, that is a real statistic. Mm-hmm. You just have to know. If you ask everybody, who do you know that has heart disease? Everybody knows somebody. Who do you know that has diabetes? Everybody knows somebody. Or my sister, or my grandmother, or this one, even Alzheimer's. I saw a commercial today. It's not that your brain stops working. It's 100% all the sugar that we have been taking in. So what are you doing to get rid of the sugar? We cannot on our own block sugar, but sugar is killing everybody. I'm talking about refined white sugar, domino sugar. It is killing us. It is the legal cocaine, but we do nothing about it. And people are as addicted. We look down on the drug addicts, but most of us are drug addicts, and we don't want to call ourselves that. So again, when you care about yourself, you do something about it. I think it's so much more fun to live a healthy life. You see people. I was in Utah, and I went up. I'm from New York. We don't hike, and I was hiking. It was 70 and 80-year-old people passing me like it was a breeze. It made me say, "What in the world are we doing? We drive cars. We don't even know what the temperature is like outside because you get in the garage, you get in your car, you go. You don't pay attention. But the motion and the physical activity, we just don't do what it takes to just maintain a good, healthy life that we enjoy living. And that's what we're all about. That's what Love Biome is about. Not just taking care of yourself. They pay us well, and then they give us a lifestyle that is enviable. And I just want to say this. I know, Tony, you've been successful in multiple companies. Dr. Tamia, successful in multiple companies. Myself, we've all been at the top of multiple companies. We're not one-off people. There's a lot of people in this industry, they have, whatever you want to call it, they make it big and they think it was them. Not here. We found our way here. We know what we were looking for. We know what's real. We're looking for sustainable income. We've done it for 30 years. There's a reason why we all are finding our way to something like this. And I'm telling you guys, there are no regrets. It's not where we started, but I do believe this will be the last one for us. I truly believe that. I mean, our last company made close to, I asked Sean this the other day, he said close to 500 millionaires in a company. I think we'll dwarf that here in a relatively short period of time. We're just in the educational phase, but the documentation is just too strong.
So what do you say? Because you mentioned that about pay. If somebody says, well, the thing pays slow, man. I looked at that and it doesn't, like you got those, you got the binaries that it'll take off fast, but you know what happens? It runs out of gas and people start getting mad. And I think it seems like everybody just say, okay, we'll do another one or something. But if you look at the pay structure here and the compensation, how Sean breaks it down about, the true payout of it and how other people say certain things, because we don't research it, never even look at it. So somebody can tell you they're giving you a true payout and we don't even know because we ain't never researched it. We don't know anything about it. But when you look at the compensation plan, a person would say, well, dang, man, I how can I make, 5,000 the first week or two or something like that? And I know, it's been out here. People have been hyping up a lot of stuff and it's always been out there. So what do you say about the compensation plan that you all like that people need to hear?
It's sustainable. I'm not interested in jumping company after company. I stayed with my last company 17 years.
Right.
No regrets, because when it works, it works. And there's no reason to chase fast money. It's like a penny doubled. We all know that story. You talk to somebody, if I gave you a penny and doubled it every day, the people don't want to start with the penny. But it takes you to millions. It's the same thing with this compensation plan. And can you make money fast? Yes, but you got to go to work. I think one of the problems with these home-based businesses are the way people sell them. They sell them like get-rich-quick schemes. You don't have to do anything. You just got to bring a lot of people and the money flows. That's not business. We are a real business. You have to get in the trenches. You have to learn the comp plan. And yes, you can make thousands quickly if you go to work. But if you want to go, as the company says, brick by brick, you're still going to build a house. And that house is sustainable. It's going to stay there. So before you turn your nose up at it, learn it. Ask yourself, do the research. What is the most sustainable compensation plan? It's not binaries. They do have quick payout, but the people at the bottom, that's why so many people turn their nose up at this industry, because there are some people who never make it because they sell it wrong. So that's my take on it. I've been in different comp plans, and the one that paid me the most was the most like this comp plan. It wasn't even as good as this comp plan. So I just think you have to learn to understand it and stop expecting something for nothing. Just being in the right place, that's not enough. You have to do the work and the money will flow significantly more than in other companies.
Okay, Doc, what you say?
Well, I too, the last company that I was a part of, it was 19 years. And I made a lot of money. And I made it rather quickly because the payout was, you got everything up front. And so if you sold the product, then I was at the place where I was making almost $3,000 per product that I sold in that particular company. However, in order for me to make it again, I had to go out and sell that product again. And so there was no true residual income there. When I came on board, well, actually, when I saw a compensation plan with Love Biome, I said to myself, I can't do this. It's going to take me forever to make the kind of money that I'm accustomed to making. And I realized rather quickly that this is true residual income. You know, you do the thing one time, you get the customer one time, and every time that customer goes to your website and purchases the product or any product, you get paid over and over again. Just like my cell phone bill, just like the light bill, just like the water bill. You know, you pay those bills every month so you can continue to use that product, that service.
Mhm.
And so I tell folk all the time, if you think you're going to come in here and you're going to get rich overnight, that's not going to happen. You're not going to get rich overnight. But can you get rich? Yes, you can. You can.
Mhm.
Brick by brick. You have to be committed to doing a little bit every single day. And you may not see the rewards the way you want to see them initially, but it will happen. For me personally, when I got started, I went straight to Elite. I went there rather quickly because I put together a group of leaders and we said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take over the Philippines. We're going to take over this. We're going to take over that. And then we learned, we're not there. And so the next month, they're like, Tamia, we're not there. We can't go there yet because it's a new company. It's a new company. So we're in the trenches. We're in the building stages of it all. Even opening up Trinidad, it was not easy. It was not. A lot of folk wouldn't have been able to take some of the trials and tribulations that were thrown in our direction. We went through a lot. But is it worth it today? Was it worth it today? As far as was yesterday worth today? Yes. Yes. And so when I looked at where I was, I'm like, wow, I'm just hitting leader. I'm hitting leader. And some of you may not understand that, but you will in the future. I promise you. And then it became a consistent, it became a consistent thing. It kept happening over and over again. Then all of a sudden, star performance started happening. That's the position from the top position. It kept happening over and over and over again. And then Elite, eventually it started to catch up. And now it's like by the 10th of the month, I'm already 90% to star performer. And so it will happen. It may not happen overnight, but it will happen. And so I tell folk, just stay the course. Don't give up. Don't give up. Do a little bit. Take those baby steps. Think about this for a moment, and then I'll be quiet. You know, when a baby first starts to walk, right? Everybody gets excited. The baby crawls over to the couch. He pulls himself up, and he's moving from side to side. And then eventually he gets the nerve to let go. And he take a step, and you see him. You're like, you get excited. And the baby falls down. And then all of a sudden, now the baby gets up and he's taking steps, and you start to count 1, 2, 3, and you're getting louder and louder and louder. And then the baby falls down and says, or sits down at 10. Nobody ever says, you know what? I've been trying with you. You're just not cut out to be a walker. You'll never be a walker. It's not in you to walk. I taught 8th grade for 9 years, and all of those students went through the same thing, but they walked in that class and they sat in those seats and they listened and they learned. The same thing with us. We want that right now. Give it to me now. I don't care if I don't get it. I'm leaving money. But we got to understand in this industry, and God knows I've been doing this for a minute, 31 years full time. I'm telling you, I've been around long enough to know what I'm talking about, y'all. We've been around. You got almost 100 years of experience right here to let you know that if you stay the course, you will get there. But what better company to do it in than a company with the founders already created close to 500 multimillionaires? Okay. They know what they're doing, and they're leading a huge expansion surrounding the entire world of the microbiome. You're in the right place at the right time. And if you miss it, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. This is like a Bill Gates opportunity. Those folks that did not, they did not invest in his dream, they probably got diabetes. They probably got high blood pressure. They're looking for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I said, I'm not missing this one. I am not missing this one. But listen, what call you getting on? I need it. And I'm glad that I did. And I made up my mind that, and I did this very, very part-time because I didn't want to let go. Fear, operating in fear. And I know that's not where I come from. So I just recently decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to go all out and just get the job done. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm excited about my next year of being a part of Love Biome, because my first year I did it very, very part-time.
Right.
But you
Right.
can accomplish a lot by doing anything as long as you're building it a little bit at a time.
Keep moving, as Kelly said.
Yeah.
Now, you kind of answered the question, because I know it's a lot of people going to look at this. Man, y'all got all that experience. You got all the teams you bringing over. I'm just a little, but you answered it by saying all you did was put people in front of Valencia to listen. That's all you did, to have them watch her presentation. That's all you did. So a person does that brick by brick and follow it. Because see, here's the thing: your person got to build it somewhere. You're gonna have to eventually do that somewhere. So everybody had to do that. So for a new person, I mean, not a new person, but somebody who says they've never done that, and because y'all got all them people and y'all got all this, you got to do it somewhere. So if you got somebody that's willing to do the presentation, and all you got to do is put people in front of it, to me, that seems like a no-brainer. But I don't know. But let me say this too: when you gave the baby example, I was sitting there thinking too. It was my niece. I remember my niece back in the day. She was growing up. She was, I can't remember what age she was, but she hadn't walked yet. She was trying to walk. And one day I was in the other room, and you could see her in the room, and she was getting up. And what was so funny to me is that every time she fell down, she laughed and got back up. Then she fell down again, and she got back up. It was like funny to her to see, because see, nobody had told her negativity yet, that you need to stay your butt down and you can't walk. So she was just laughing like, okay, I'm about to do it again. I'm about to do it again. And, you know, I think if people look at it like that, you know, you're going to, you know, I know how people are. Some people say, well, I done been through all these things and it just don't. I think at some point you got to realize that it has to do something at one point. If you do the work, if you do something daily, every day, and realize that the product is actually working throughout your system, that you can do it. So tell me a question I didn't ask you guys, something that you might want to talk about that I didn't talk about.
I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, Valencia, you know, I would want to know, if I was a person that was not really having the level of success that I really wanted to have, what would it really take? If you could give me a word of advice, what would that be? And I remember talking to this multimillionaire. This is back in my Mary Kay days, and I wanted to be successful so bad. And I was told, to me, you got to do the things that the successful people do. You got to start becoming that thing in your mind, and then it will appear. Things will start to happen. And I remember Mary Kay had this trip for, it wasn't a trip, it was a horse buggy ride for all the multimillionaires. And I was just a director at the time, but I got on that buggy. I know I didn't have no business on that buggy, but I got on that buggy, and I'm sitting on that buggy. They're looking at me like, who is she? Where'd she come from? She must be from someplace else. And I'm listening at the conversation that they were having, and they were talking about how expensive their lights were. Girl, my light bill was $7,000, and oh my goodness! And I'm like, yeah, I understand. Meantime, mine was about to get cut off because I didn't have money to pay the bill. Yeah, that's where I was. But I stayed there long enough to get this question answered, and that question was, why do people not, you know, succeed? Why don't they succeed in this thing? Why are they so quick to quit? And this lady said to me, she said, the reason why is because they don't stay. They don't stay in it long enough to see it work. A lot of people quit too soon. Right when they're at the edge of their breakthrough, they get off the boat. They get off the train. And it's right there. It's getting ready to happen when they're most frustrated, when they're most when the anxiety is going through the roof. It's like, I don't know what else to do. It's at that point that you stick and you stay, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm a witness. I have not worked a job in the past 31 years. I'm telling you, I have not. I've gotten bored in the industry. I got so bored. I went and I got some doctorates. I got some masters. I wrote a book. I got my cosmetology license, all in network marketing. All in network marketing, because it takes a life of its own after a while. You start making money that you can't even count. But in the beginning, you don't see that.
That's right.
Right.
See your end from where you are today, and watch and see what happens.
Wow.
I completely agree with Dr. Tamia. I just feel some people don't want it bad enough. Like their life is comfortable, and comfortability is the thief of everything great. Because if I'm comfortable, I'm not going for anything else. For me, when I decided to do network marketing, I needed to do something different. If that point, that inflection point had never happened for me, I may never have joined this industry. So I'm grateful for the adversity. And then always remember, I'm going to correct the thought process that we brought whole teams over here. We didn't. Tamia didn't, because she still was doing something else. So she wasn't destroying her money to create money. I didn't bring a whole team because the company I was in was falling apart. I didn't bring, people probably think I brought hundreds of people to the table. I did not. I believe on day one, maybe, and I really need to verify this, but I'm going to say maybe 35 people signed up. I mean, on day one. Just from, the month before talking about it. But I did make a commitment to work it every day. I told myself, I've always heard people say, nobody's going to outwork me and I'm going to do it for 90 days. That I did do. And it gave me the foundation. I hit the top position. And then I never was a person that was just looking for all leaders. I am grateful beyond measure that Dr. Tamia was interested, because I probably would have never called her. I'm not that person. If you're happy doing what you're doing, keep doing it. But if there's some level of discontent in your life, then you should solve it. And I just truly believe that people, the only reason they're not here is they don't know we're here. They're so used to everything else. We're so brand new. But we are attracting people like Dr. Tamia. Just saying Dr. Tamia is on the team is a recruiting magnet. I had people who were scared. Dr. Tamia is coming. They were scared because we had done business together before, years and years and years ago. So I just believe you have to find a reason why you want to do it. And we call it your why. But you have to know your why has to be deeper than I need some money. Your why has to go deep. Like I remember, we don't talk about the negativity as much, but I remember hiding my car. I remember foreclosure notices. But I wasn't doing anything to get out of that situation. The financial literacy, I just didn't have it. Everybody I knew was, robbing Peter to pay Paul. So it was natural. That's what life was about. But you start to learn in T&I learned the power of financial freedom, what it is, what to do. And before you know it, when you get a respect for money, money comes. It's so much more than just the compensation plan. You get some of the best association. I mean, Dr. Tamia has 2 doctorates. I mean, I didn't have friends like that. It's a whole different caliber of people that you surround yourself with, and growth happens through proximity. You start to be around the right people. Even you, Tony. I mean, I learned a lot when we were in business together. The first regional event we had, I invited Tony Fleming because he was massive.
Wait a minute. Was that the one in Baltimore or the one
in Baltimore? I was like, he said yes. I said, can you come and do an event? Dr. Kimbrough came. I mean, it was just
no. Wait a minute. Kimbrough came to Jersey.
Was it Jersey?
That was the second one. I came to that one too. Yeah, because I do
remember you doing our first event.
I did that. I remember. Look, I drove. You called me like 2 days before. I got in my car and drove all the way up to Baltimore. And I had a great time. But the second one, I had a great time too. That was Atlantic City, because Kimbrough was
Sheridan, right?
Yeah. He was at the airport when we landed, and we actually rode in the limo over to the event with him, and we talked. Dr. Kimbrough is a special individual, man.
Yeah, he's good people. I really enjoy him. But those kind of things, which brings me back to you, Dr. Tamia. We got to get back into meeting together. Yeah, Zoom is great, but you don't touch and feel people on Zoom. So we are looking forward to doing things like that. And you haven't, well, you've heard Dr. Tamia talk, but to see her on stage, she's a transformational coach. People sit in that audience in awe. And that has nothing to do with the compensation plan. You just become a better person. And when you get better, everything about your life gets better. So yeah, the money's great. I'm not gonna sit here and fake it. The money is great. I got stranded in the airport. True story, Tamia. all these people sleeping on the floor like they can't move because they don't have enough money to go buy another. It's little things like that. My whole mind is, what other airline is flying? I'm not sleeping in the airport. So it's the little things that make people, that you start to appreciate. And by the way, Dr. T, there is a population on this planet, to the point about walking, there's a population that still crawl. And you got to ask yourself, why do these human beings still crawl? And they say it's because nobody encouraged them to walk.
Wow.
It still exists today. Whereas when our kids start walking, we like, come. And they fall, we grab them, we hold them back up. We want them to walk. But if nobody helps you, you're probably going to be in that space that you're in your whole life. And it's been proven that that's how people end up. So we're only here sharing our stories, and there's some bad parts of it. They always say the road to success leads right through the dump. And most people park right in the dump. So if you want to win, get around people, hear their real story, and you'll understand, wow, I don't have it that bad. I just got to do a little work, and it won't kill me.
Well, look, I appreciate it. We're gonna do a part 2 real soon, because we got a lot more we can talk about. But I just thought that it'd be a great conversation today to put this out, and I appreciate you guys making time for it. And I think it's gonna, help a lot of people. Some people that can share this with other people. So look forward in about a week and a half or something, and we're going to really,
hey, we business people. You got to pay us. No.
I know that's right.
Yes,
I appreciate it, Tony. Seriously.
Behind his head, that 1 million.
Yeah, that's it. Brick by brick. All right. Well, thank you guys. We're gonna sign out, and another episode of Elite Psyche. Look, do me a favor, y'all got people that's listening, watching, go subscribe, man. Look and not subscribe. You gotta subscribe. I plan to be at 10,000 subscribers in 12 months. Next month will be 12 months. I'm about at. I was at 8,500, now and dropped back down to 7,500. Y'all got to go and subscribe and make this thing pop, because we're gonna have a lot of good interviews on here. We're gonna talk about a lot of good things. So again, appreciate y'all guys, and we signing out.
You too.
Talk to you later.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.